Here's something most men don't realize. You're probably way more attractive than you think you are. No, that's not just a confidence boost. It's a fact. The problem is, many men don't see what women actually notice. You might be walking around thinking you're average, while women around you are quietly checking you out, analyzing your presence, your energy, and the subtle things you don't even think about. Attraction isn't just about looks. It's about the way you carry yourself, how you speak, how you react, and the quiet confidence you radiate without even trying. See, most guys underestimate their own appeal because they judge themselves by society's loud standards: height, money, jawline, status. But that's not how women really measure attraction. Sure, looks matter, but it's your aura that gets her attention. That calm confidence, the small behaviors, the way you make her feel without even saying a word. And what's crazy is that many men have no idea they're already doing these things. If you've ever caught a woman staring at you and then quickly looking away, if you've ever noticed that people listen when you speak, or if you've ever had women get slightly nervous or playful around you for no obvious reason, chances are you're far more attractive than you realize. So in this video, we're going to break it down. 5 clear signs that you're way more attractive than you think. By the end, you might look at yourself differently. Not because you suddenly became more attractive, but because you finally see what's been there all along. Welcome to the channel, where we talk about real attraction, female psychology, and how to understand what women actually respond to. If you're tired of overthinking your looks or comparing yourself to others, stay tuned, because this one will open your eyes. Let's jump into it. 1. Women act nervous around you, and you don't know why. One of the clearest signs that you're more attractive than you realize is how women act around you, not what they say. Attraction often shows up in subtle, almost confusing ways. A woman may not flirt directly, but her body language will tell you everything. She might play with her hair when you're near, laugh a little too hard at something you said, or stumble over her words when you ask a simple question. You might think she's just shy, distracted, or awkward. But what's really happening is she's feeling your presence. When a woman is around a man she finds attractive, her nervous system reacts before her logic does. Her heart rate picks up, she becomes more self-aware, and suddenly she's thinking about how she looks, how she sounds, and what you might think of her. That's why her energy shifts. She might start fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, or even acting colder than usual. Ironically, that cold behavior can actually be her way of hiding that she's flustered. Picture this. You're having a normal conversation with a female coworker or a woman at a coffee shop. She's calm with everyone else, but when you walk in, she adjusts her posture, fixes her hair, and her tone changes slightly. She might even tease you or act a bit defensive, like she's trying not to show interest. Most guys don't notice this because they're focused on surface-level cues, direct compliments or obvious flirting. But attraction often hides in these quiet, nervous reactions. Here's the thing. Women don't get nervous around men they're not attracted to. They're relaxed, casual, even careless. But when a man walks in who has that quiet confidence, that masculine energy that makes her feel something, she becomes aware of herself. It's instinctive. She's not trying to act nervous. Her body just reacts. So if you've ever noticed women acting slightly awkward or different when you're around, maybe they look away quickly after making eye contact, or their friends start whispering when you walk by. That's not a coincidence. It's a signal. But here's where most men go wrong. They overanalyze it or get uncomfortable themselves. Instead of just being calm and natural, they start questioning, did I say something weird? Am I making her uncomfortable? No, you're not. You're just giving off an energy that gets her attention, the best response. Don't chase it. Don't make it a big deal. Stay grounded, keep your cool, and let her feel that subtle tension. Because that tension, that mix of curiosity and nervousness, is exactly what builds attraction. So next time a woman acts a little off around you, don't assume it's negative. It might be one of the clearest signs that she sees you as more attractive than you see yourself. 2. You get more respect from other men than you realize. Another strong sign that you're more attractive than you realize is how other men respond to you. Most guys don't think of respect as a signal of attractiveness, but it is, because men subconsciously recognize hierarchy, confidence, and presence. When you walk into a room and other men notice you, not out of envy, but acknowledgement, it means you carry yourself with a certain energy that commands attention. You've probably experienced it before without even realizing it. You speak, and people actually listen. You're quiet, but when you do talk, others pause to hear what you're saying. You don't have to raise your voice or dominate the space. Your presence alone carries weight. That's not about muscles, money, or looks. It's about composure. Attractive men don't need to prove anything. They're not trying to outshine anyone, and they're not desperate to be seen. That calm, collected attitude instantly earns respect, and men respect what they subconsciously wish they had more of: control, confidence, and purpose. Notice how men act when you're around. If they subtly adjust how they talk, if they try to match your tone, or if they ask for your opinion on things, that's not random. It's a recognition of status. Even if it's not verbalized, men pick up on your internal power. This also explains why some men may act competitive or even defensive around you. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because they feel your presence challenges theirs. You might just be sitting there, relaxed, but your quiet confidence makes them want to prove themselves. That's often a sign you carry more authority, and yes, attractiveness, than you think. Women pick up on this too. They notice how other men treat you. When men respect you, it sends a powerful signal to women that you're a man of influence even in subtle ways. Women are wired to sense hierarchy and social dynamics. If other men naturally defer to you or value your words, it instantly amplifies your attractiveness in her eyes, even if she can't explain why. So if you often find that men look up to you, listen when you speak, or treat you with quiet respect, that's not luck. It's a reflection of your natural masculine presence, something most men spend years trying to develop. The mistake many guys make is assuming attractiveness is only about appearance or charm. But real attraction, especially the kind that both men and women respond to, comes from how you carry yourself. If your energy makes people stand a little straighter, listen a little closer, or behave a little differently around you, that's not coincidence. That's quiet dominance. And dominance, when it's calm and controlled, is one of the clearest signs of true masculine attractiveness. 3. People remember you easily. One of the clearest signs that you're more attractive than you realize is how easily people remember you, even after just one meeting. You might not think much of it, but when someone recalls small details about you, your voice, your vibe, or even something you said in passing, that's not normal. It means you left an impression. See, average people fade quickly from memory. But when you have presence, when your energy lingers, people remember you. It's not about being loud or overly confident. It's about being authentic. Attractive men have a distinct energy that stands out in a world full of people trying to fit in. Think about it. How many times has someone said, "Hey, I remember you from somewhere," or "You look familiar," even when you barely interacted? That's because your aura, the way you carry yourself, speak, and look at people, registers in their subconscious. You stand out without even trying. This also applies to women. When a woman can't forget you, even though you barely texted or talked, it's not random. She remembers the feeling she got around you. Maybe it was your calm energy, your focus, or your mysterious confidence. Whatever it was, it triggered something that made her brain take note. And that's what attraction really is. Emotional impact. Now here's the thing. A lot of men underestimate this. They think if they're not constantly in someone's face, they'll be forgotten. But being remembered doesn't come from chasing attention. It comes from leaving an impression. You do that by being grounded, genuine, and intentional in how you interact. You speak with clarity. You make eye contact. You listen without trying too hard. Those small habits create emotional weight, and that's what makes people remember you. Women especially remember how you made them feel. You don't have to flirt or perform. Just being comfortable in your own skin creates a kind of magnetism that's rare. When you're not seeking approval, your energy feels different. It's calmer, more solid. That's what sticks in her mind long after the conversation is over. And here's the deeper part. Being memorable isn't just a sign of attractiveness. It's a sign of authenticity. Because when you're real, you stand out in a world full of pretenders. People may not remember your exact words, but they'll remember your energy. So if you've noticed that people, especially women, tend to recall you, reach out after time apart, or mention things you said long ago, take note. You're not forgettable. You just haven't realized how strongly your energy resonates. Attraction isn't only seen, it's felt. And when people remember you effortlessly, it's because you've made them feel something that most can't replicate. That's real magnetism. And that's a major sign you're more attractive than you think. 4. You don't chase. Yet women stay interested. One of the biggest indicators that you're more attractive than you realize is how women stay interested. Even when you don't chase them, you might think you're not doing enough, but what you're actually doing is showing high-value behavior, and that's something most men don't understand. When you're not chasing, it's not that you're being cold or playing games. It's that you're comfortable enough with yourself not to need anyone's attention. Women can feel that. They can sense when a man's energy says, "I'm good either way." And that's incredibly attractive because it communicates abundance, not desperation. See, most guys think they need to constantly text, compliment, or impress a woman to keep her interest. But the truth is, women lose attraction when a man tries too hard. They subconsciously start to feel like they're the prize, and he's the one trying to earn something. But when you don't chase, when you move at your own pace and stay focused on your life, you flip the dynamic completely. Suddenly, you become the prize. Here's what tends to happen. When you're genuinely focused on your goals, women notice the difference. You're not waiting for a reply. You're not checking if she watched your story. You're simply living your life. and that relaxed confidence pulls her in because she feels safe and intrigued around it. It's rare. She starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me like the others? That question alone triggers her curiosity, and that's where attraction deepens. When you stop chasing, you give her the space to miss you. You create tension, and tension is what keeps women emotionally engaged. But here's the key. Not chasing doesn't mean ignoring her or being distant for the sake of it. It's about balance. You show interest, but you don't overinvest. You stay kind, but not overly available. You express attraction, but you don't beg for attention. That's how women can sense your self-worth without you having to prove it. What you might see as doing nothing is actually doing everything right. Because real attraction grows in space, not pressure. When you give a woman room to think, to feel, and to wonder, she starts valuing your presence more. If women keep showing back up, texting you first, or staying curious about you, even when you haven't been chasing them, take note. That's not luck. That's a reflection of your natural masculine polarity. It's not the loud, overly confident men who create long-term attraction. It's the calm, self-assured men who know their worth. The ones who understand that walking away or holding back isn't weakness. It's power. So if you're not chasing, but women still seem drawn to you, that's not random. That's a major sign you're way more attractive than you think. 5. You're calm and unbothered. And it drives women crazy. There's something about a man who stays calm no matter what's happening around him. And most guys don't realize how attractive that really is. When you're not easily rattled, when you don't overreact, and when you move through situations with quiet confidence, it does something to women. It creates both mystery and emotional safety. Two things that trigger attraction on a deep level. Picture this. A woman tries to test your patience. Maybe she throws a sarcastic comment, gives you a bit of attitude, or tries to make you jealous. Most guys would get defensive, argue back, or start explaining themselves. But you just smile, stay calm, and let her energy roll off you like it's nothing. That moment right there, that's when she feels it. She realizes she can't shake you, and that drives her crazy in the best way. See, women test not because they're evil or manipulative, but because they're subconsciously looking for emotional strength. They want to know if you can handle pressure without crumbling. When you're unbothered, you communicate dominance, not through words, but through emotional control. And emotional control is one of the most masculine traits a man can display. Being calm doesn't mean you're cold or emotionless. It means you're steady. You don't let small things throw you off. You don't need to win every argument or prove your worth. You're confident enough to stay centered, and that's magnetic. Women are naturally drawn to men who remain grounded in chaos because it's rare. In today's world, where everyone is reactive and easily offended, being calm sets you apart instantly. It signals maturity, self-control, and confidence. The kind of traits that make people stop and pay attention. Even in relationships, that calmness changes everything. When you don't chase drama, when you respond with thought instead of emotion, she starts to respect you more. And that respect slowly turns into deeper attraction. She feels like she can relax around you because you're steady. That's why the unbothered man often gets labeled as mysterious or hard to read. Women can't quite figure him out, and that makes them want him more. They wonder what's going on in his mind, why he's not reacting like everyone else, and how he stays so composed. The calm man doesn't chase. He attracts. He doesn't force outcomes. He allows them to unfold. And that quiet power speaks louder than any flex or boast ever could. So if you're naturally calm, if you don't overreact, and if people sometimes call you too chill, don't see that as a flaw. That's one of your greatest strengths. Because being emotionally steady in a world full of chaos doesn't just make you rare, it makes you unforgettable. I'm telling you for a fact, you're probably far more attractive than you've ever given yourself credit for. Not because of looks alone, but because of presence, mindset, and energy. The problem is, most men don't recognize their own value until someone else points it out. But by then, they've already spent years playing small, chasing validation, or trying to earn what they already naturally attract. Here's the thought-provoking part. Being unaware of your attractiveness doesn't make you humble. It makes you invisible. And the world has no reward for a man who hides his power. Attractiveness isn't about arrogance or showing off. It's about self-awareness. It's understanding that your calmness, your quiet confidence, your ability to stay composed under pressure, those are rare qualities. They're what make you magnetic. So instead of asking, "Am I attractive?" start asking, "What energy am I giving off?" Because the moment you understand your presence, you stop chasing attention and start commanding it. That's when everything changes, how people see you, how women respond to you, and most importantly, how you see yourself. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been surprised to learn that someone found you attractive when you didn't expect it? Drop your story in the comments. I go through and read everyone, and I'll reply to as many as I can. Remember, being attractive isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally realizing who you've been all along.